Today I'm going to show you different methods for sewing curves. The first one is pinning. What you're going to do is take your two pieces to sew your curved block and fold them in half. This is going to mark the center curve so you know where to line up your two pieces. Next, you're going to fold your top concave piece on top of your convex piece, lining up the centers and pinning in place. You're going to pin at the center and then at both ends. You can add more pins if you'd like, but I think 3 is plenty. Then you're going to take it over to your machine and start sewing. For this method, I really like having the concave piece on top. And you're just going to go really, really slow. Every now and then you'll need to stop and smooth out any creases. That way you don't get puckers. And as you're sewing, remove the pins. The hardest part is coming down to the very end. You may need to pull some of your fabric and maneuver it around to ensure everything stays lined up. Lastly, we're going to take it over to the ironing board and press. For this quote, we are pressing our seams open. Give it a quick press on top, and there you go. You have a finished curve block. The next method for sewing curves is called glue basting. For this method, you're going to start out the same way you did with pinning. You're going to fold your units in half to mark the center curve. Next, you're going to grab a glue stick. Any glue stick will do, but I highly recommend these Sew Line glue sticks because they're thin and the blue glue is very easy to see on fabric. You can get them from Amazon. But you're going to apply a very skinny layer of glue on the outside edge of the convex piece, and you're going to very carefully glue down the convex piece along the curve, lining up the edges. We're going to set this glue with a little bit of heat. So take this over to your ironing board and press the very outside edge to keep them stuck together. Now that our pieces are basted together, we're going to take it over to our sewing machine and sew. This method makes sewing a little bit easier, but you still want to go slow and press out any creases that you see while you're going along the curve. And lastly, we need to take it over to our ironing board and press. Unfortunately, because we glued the seams together, we are unable to open our seams. So you may need to pull apart your seams to get it open, but once you do, press, and there you go, all done. The third method is a little wild, but we're just gonna start sewing with the concave piece on top. You can mark the center curve if that helps you keep everything lined up, but you're just gonna start sewing, pulling and repositioning the units as needed. The problem with this method is things might not line up at the end, so it may take some practice getting used to your machine to see what fabric you need to pull a little more to ensure everything is lined up. To help combat things not lining up, I highly recommend this foot called the Curve Master foot. I got it from the Colorful World of Sewing, and they have different ones for different machines. I honestly have no idea how this works, but it just does. It has a 1/4 of an inch marking, so you can ensure your seam is a 1/4 of an inch. It presses out any creases because of how wide the foot is, and it guides the fabric along the curve. I'm going to show you here with the convex piece on top and the concave piece on top, just so you can see how it works. I think it's easier with the convex piece on top with this foot, but the concave piece on top is just as easy. Once again, you're going to take your blocks over to your ironing board and press your seams open. Don't worry if these blocks aren't perfectly square. We will work on that next time. And thank you so much for watching. I really hope this was helpful.